big news with the FBI. It's funny. Yesterday we have the Pope, Leo the 14th, biggest story of the day, no question. We're waiting for the name, gets announced. But Clay, while that's going on, the news breaks that Letitia James, the Attorney General of New York, the second largest blue state in the country, she who went after Trump with the full force of her office in a clear politicized weaponization of her office and the powers therein. She is now facing a full-blown FBI investigation, and she was confronted at a town hall after that news broke. Here is the New York State AG. Play one.
My question is for Tush James. Will you apologize to President Trump for wasting millions of dollars and the state of New York for a witch trial? And how does it feel to know that you will be imprisoned for mortgage fraud?
Thank you for coming. We want to thank him for coming. We respect all opinions. Everybody knows those allegations are baseless. They're discredited. And so we want to thank him.
I love this guy. I love this guy, Buck.
But she says they're discredited. I know this is what they always say when they're caught, right? This is what the Democrats always go to. Who says they're discredited? I haven't seen even ABC and New York Times, the usual suspects. I haven't seen anyone say this is all a fabrication. And that means that there are documents that indicate there's a problem here.
I think her best defense, actually, her best public defense and her legal defense, and we talked a lot about this during Trump. Sometimes those are the same. Sometimes they're different. Her best public defense is, oh, this is just them coming after me because I went after Trump. Okay, that's a public defense. It's not a legal defense. Her best legal defense, based on the research I have done, is there may be multiple forms that she has filled out. Some of them she lied on. Others of them she did not lie on. And therefore, she may be able to argue, again, this is me putting on my criminal defense attorney hat. She may be able to argue that this was not a crime because there's evidence that she did not lie in other documents. Now, that's not a good defense. Not a good defense. I'm just saying if I were her criminal defense attorney, there's sometimes a difference between public defense and actual legal defense. Public defense of Trump hates me and this is why I'm being looked at is not actually a legal defense. The document defense that I trotted out potentially could be one.
Okay, so on that document defense, though, did she get the rate that you would get if you was your primary residence? Because, you know, then it's really hard to say, well, there's one document that I did the right way, one I did the wrong way. Okay, but you got the benefit for the wrong way and should have known that. You should have been aware of that.
I think a lot of
There's no way you wouldn't know. Clay, you sit down. When was the last time you did a mortgage for a house? It's been a long time, right?
Well, we moved in here 10 years ago.
Right. Okay. So remember, you sit there. You got to have the what do you call the people that have to check the signatures? You know, the
notaries.
Notary. Thank you. You got to sit there with a notary. You got to show your ID. You got to sign every page. You got to sign the page that says you signed the page. You got to sign the page that says you read the signature. Over and over again. She's a lawyer. So I messed up on the documents, and the outcome was the one that was favorable to me.
That's the second part.
I think that's
the
key,
a tough part. A lot of people who sit on a jury might be willing to believe that you screwed up on a document when you're going through and filling them out. But it's awfully convenient that each time that you screwed up on the document, it benefited you. And I think a lot of people sit back. If I were the prosecutor, I would sit down and I would say, Letitia James, you are a lawyer. You understand the significance of filling out forms under the color of law. Isn't it convenient that you managed to incorrectly fill out the forms multiple times for multiple different mortgages in ways that personally benefited you? You didn't screw up in a way that hurt you.
Well, yes, or that was irrelevant, right? This is also true in any perjury. This is effectively a perjury situation. And in any case where there's alleged perjury, right? Is it material? Is it material to, people who say, well, what if I say that I had Cheerios yesterday, but I actually had, Fruit Loops or something? They don't usually do perjury if it's immaterial to what they're asking about, right? If it could be, now that's up to the discretion of the prosecutor, but the way it's supposed to go, it's not so minor that it's irrelevant, right? A spelling error on a mortgage document can't get you locked up. If she got better rates, then that's something that then that again throws the document judgment into or document error into I think a harder position. But to your point about how she's going to run this, if they do bring a charge, which we'll see, I'm not sure they have the courage to do so.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I'm not sure they have the courage to do so. But if they were to do so, I think she's just going to. Her defense will just be this is all just Trump payback. It won't even really matter that much and hope that she can get people on the jury who will say, now, will she take it to a jury? Will she get a plea deal? Will she even be charged? Those are all outstanding questions. But her waving her hand and saying these are discredited allegations, no, I don't think so. I haven't seen anything that discredits them. To your point, Clay, she may have a defense. That's not the same thing as this is a fabrication, which is what a discredited allegation would be.
No doubt. And I do love, I don't want to underserve or underpraise that guy. I love the reaction to him, whoever that guy is, and it wouldn't shock me if he's listening right now, to go into the Lions Den there and ask that question and have everybody just react in anger and derision was so great. The audio is phenomenal. I'm sure the video is also fantastic. So
why was he escorted out? Why does security escort you? He just asked a question. He wasn't.
Great question.
Why is he allowed to be escorted out? On what basis? He's not disturbing the peace. He's not causing an undue ruckus. He asked a completely valid question, and I believe security, meaning the police, had him removed.
Yeah. Maybe they would argue it was for his own security. I don't know. I don't know what the crowd looked like. I don't know what the crowd's reaction to him was. Were they closing in on him? But that in and of itself is a very good question. I actually think, again, the discredited answer is a good one. I didn't think Letitia James handled it poorly in terms of the way that plays out. Like, she gets to make her argument that it's not true, and she says he has a right to make that argument, even if we know it's not true. Like, to her credit.
Police escorted him out. I don't understand why police should be escorting a man out who asks a valid question at a town hall. He wasn't refusing to comply or let her speak. Anyway.
It is a good question. My bet would be that they would argue that he was in peril. But if he didn't want to leave, then he shouldn't be forced to leave. There's nothing wrong with the question that he asked.
What, he's gonna be mobbed by a bunch of blue-haired communists who have never lifted a finger in a fight or
First of all, who shows up at a was this a public forum with the New York Attorney General? Can you think of a more boring way to spend the night? I mean, in all seriousness, I understand they have these town halls and everything else, but I don't even know why the Attorney General, I guess she's democratically elected, so maybe she feels compelled to do these town halls, but it actually, to me, makes it look like you are engaged, as she is, in direct response to the public, which is why a lot of attorney generals are not elected to statewide office, because they're supposed to be above the fray.
You know, when you've got kids under your roof, you don't play around with your protection. I'm just a few weeks into fatherhood. Clay's an old hand at this. He's got 3 boys. We know you are the one who has to be, first and foremost, protecting your family at all costs, at all times. Sabre is the #1 pepper spray brand trusted by law enforcement, and they have a whole slew of fantastic, non-lethal personal and home defense products that I really want you to go check out. I wish there weren't as many home invasions. I wish there weren't as many crazies in some parts of this country as there are, but you need to be prepared to defend yourself and your family, and Sabre does that for you. Look, I've got a gun safe full of lethal options too, but we have a whole bunch of Sabre products here because having that non-lethal option for my wife, for Clay's wife, that's their go-to. And also for me, I like having force escalation. If I know the situation can be handled non-lethal, I'll go to that first. Sabre gives you that. The gels they have for pepper spray, plus the pepper spray launcher, which honestly also just to get trained up on is a lot of fun. So it's something you could shoot in your backyard safely. Can't necessarily do that with a firearm, right? So go check out what Sabre has. Go to sabreradio.com, S-A-B-R-E radio.com. You'll save 15%. Sabre, S-A-B-R-E radio.com, or just call this number, 844-824-SAFE, 844-824-SAFE.